we call the rally, have what we call the drop, and the base. Since today we are going to be breaking down what we call the market structure, it's going to be the market structure. I wanted to start with the market trend so that we get the core part. Batufunira ddala kye bayita ekinyusi ku kye tugenda okulaba. I hope the people that I gave up the link, they are already here. Twagambye tugakozesa YouTube this time round. So if you are not here or toli ku YouTube, you are somewhere else, just siri. Because today I'm on live on YouTube. I'm streaming live on YouTube today. So we have what we call the market structure, but before we attack the market structure, obanga tetunagenda ku market structure, kyetugenda osooka olaba bakiyita trend oba market trend. Trend kino eno trend y'entambula y'akatale. Akatale we kaba kambuka kakkirira, kyetusooka olaba ebeera market trend. Market trend nti, for example, I'm a trader, I'm trading Bit, the asset I'm trading is around here. So if I'm trading this asset and the asset moves up like this, which means I'm in an uptrend. And when the asset is around here and it moves down like this, which means I'm in a downtrend. First of all, when you're trading, the first thing we focus on in any kind of strategy oba buli kintu, buli strategy tukozesa oba buli trading yaffe nga trader, ekintu kyetusooka otunuulira basically ebeera trend ya market structure to follow up and see ebintu bye tuba tugerako wano eno. So first of all, we have what we call the uptrending market. The uptrending market ke katale akabeera kambuka waggulu nti nguze asset yange ng'eri ku mutwalo gumu ogw'e Uganda, asset neeyambuka paka ku mitwalo 12 egy'e Uganda. Ekyo kye bayita uptrending market. Downtrend market kitegeeza nti asset nagitunze ng'eri ku ssente weziti nekkirira ddala nempa ssente weziti. That's the downtrending market. Kati leero tugenda bimenyamenyamu tutegeere nti nga gwe trader oba oza okukola setup yo olina tandikira ku ki era ki ekirala ky'oba olina ofocusingako. Nze nga nze brand oba market users forex academy, whenever I'm going to make a setup, ekintu kyesooka ofocusingako ebeera market structure. Reason saagala collidinga with the highest bidders in the market. Remember, we are retail traders. Kati buli oyagala okubiisanya ne ba high bidders mu katale, you're going to make losses. Alright, so I like to first deep in our book. Remember, I have this forex book, and today I'm going to look basically on the market structure around here. So market structure is basically about seeing what the market is all about. All right, let me go back on the charts. Got to know that. Let's see. Let me get a clear chart right here. My network is low. Afuna clear chart wano eno gye tugenda okukolerako examples. If you're not ngamba sikuwulira, alright, kankozesa wano eno weewate otamala nnyo obudde. You're going to take a scenario nti I'm having an asset around here. I'm having an asset around here. Asset bigambe ya mutwalo gumu ogw'e Uganda, UGX. Tukuwa kyebayita market structure na trend. Tugasooka tulabe trend then tulabe structure. Tegere omugaso gwa structure. Why should we trade in like an uptrending or downtrending market, and how do you focus on the structure? All right, kati let me say I have an asset there, and when the asset moves, let's make different prices so that I will explain later very well. All right, I'll be using Luganda and English as well. Let me say waneno waliwo emitwalo 2 egy'e Uganda. Yeah. Let me. Wano eno ne wabeerawo ngamba emitwalo gigenda kuba 3. Gigenda kuba emitwalo 3 wano eno. Kati omugaso gwa wano guli ki? Omugaso gw'okuba ne trend oba okumanya trend guli ki? Most of the times when we buy an asset, for example here, you took a buy order around here. You took a buy order around this area here. When you are in a trending market, bakatale kaba katambula nkambuka kasobola okukola weekati ne kaddamu kemabega ne kamala ne keeyongerayo like that. Akatale kano buli kabeera nkatambula kagenda kukola kye bayita structure. Era ng'omuntu yenna, even people, we have our body structures. So when the market is moving, it's going to form what we call structures. The more the market moves, it forms structures. Kati bayita structure kyeki? Kyeta structure is the movement of the market forming what we call the highs and the lows. Remember, when the market pushes from this area and it pushes up, in our previous mentorships, we say this is a high. This is a high around here, and this is a low. I'm still on this is an uptrending market. I'm still giving examples on an uptrending market. We haven't watched the downtrending. So now downtrending market now to gap what to. So giving an example right here, I said this is a high around here and this is a low. After forming a high and a low, we are going to form what we call the higher highs and the higher lows. The higher highs and the higher lows come in. This is going to be a higher high, and this higher high will be right here. Reason why it's called a higher high is just because it's a high above this previous high, and you're going to be having what we call the higher low. This is going to be called the higher. It's going to be called the higher low. Reason why it's the higher low, it's a low but above this low. So when you're in a trending market, you first see this, that the market is moving either from this point to this point, or if it's downtrending, it will always be from up you shall have such a scenario like this. Remember, in forex trading, we make money either ways. Into two better from Kataleka Forex, even though we are pushing down, even though we are pushing up, we can still make money either ways. For example, I can say you saw this asset around here. The asset wagitunze ya mutwalo, asset negenda ng'erinnya, gyekomokera wansi nga kasente keeyongera kozi watunze. Ono ba waguze n'erinnya, era tegenda kuba eyongera okuwa akasente. Kati we are going to be making money either ways in the forex market. So the main issue today was, this was just a recap, it was about the structures. The structures we have basically the break of market structure in the uptrending market and in the downtrending market, and the market structure shift. Let me hope everybody's on and video mampula, cause we shall not be repeating like the previous lectures or the previous mentorship. So I was like, wetubeera mu katale muneeno tuna kye tuyita break of market structure ne market structure shift. Alright, market structure shift ne break of market structure, they are two different things abantu bye baba baagala okuconfusinga in the market, but they are literally different. Break of market structure will always happen when the market is keeping the same direction, but market structure shift, the market will be changing from a certain direction to another. The market will be shifting from a certain direction to another, which means that there will be a change, a complete change, more than in this break of market structure. Kachigenda kuba wekiti. Kigenda kuba. Let me first get here down a clean screen. Let me first get here down a clean screen. Getting here down a clean screen means we are going to be looking at break of market structure tugenda byawulira wanene, so that if you go back on your charts you can literally spot them and use them very well. No, I'm going, it's the economic calendar, sorry for that. We have what we call the break. How what we call the break of market structure. How about we call the break of market structure? This is one. And this will always appear like this. I'm going to first give simple examples. Will appear like this. I'm giving this example is generally for an uptrending market. I know people right now can differentiate between a downtrending market and an uptrending market. So whatever we do, just relate at times. If I don't talk about it, maybe you can ask if I didn't talk about it. All right, now we have what we call the market structure shift. We have what we call the market structure shift. Have what we call the market structure shift. So the market structure shift will happen like this. Into market ejja kuva at a certain point eyambuke. Market when eyambuka at a certain point, the market will fall and will change basically generate the trend. Remember, we know the uptrend and the downtrend. So at a certain point, the market will have to change the trend, which means here the market kept the trend. The market kept the trend, which was an, let me see, I wanted to first make some changes right here. All right, the market kept the trend, which was an uptrend, but when you, as a certain scenario, and another scenario here, the market was literally uptrending. The market was literally uptrending, but out of the blue, the market changed the trend and the market started falling. So this scenario at times will help you to identify the possible trades. Which direction should I take the trades from? Yeah, has the market changed the direction or the market is still moving? Let me say, I have this high. I have this high around here, and I have another high. Tiniane high endala waneno. Remember tuma kye tuyita higher highs ne higher lows. Tininane high endala waneno. Kati zino high ze tujja markinga. Remember here we can use a simple, you can use BMS, break of market structure, or you can use break of structure. Byonna biba bituufu. So you find some traders nga babuwandiise waneeno break of structure, break of structure, break of structure, like that, which means the market kept the trend. Market yabadde mu uptrend here, naye teyakyusiza kuvaayo kudda mu downtrend, which means the market kept on pushing up but breaking the previous highs and lows. As a trader, you always wait for the market to retrace. Now market yange egenda kukomawo at a certain area here, as we shall be seeing the demand and supply zones, and you take in your trades maintaining the direction. All right, let me see. We have here what we're going to. I'll just use letters like H for high and LB for low. Remember, we have what the higher highs and the higher lows. So, of course, so on every step, we are taking a greater step. By this time, you have to be able to identify the lower lows and the lower highs, the higher highs and the higher lows. So I have here the high, the low, the high, the low. The more the market comes and breaks here, I'll call this a break of market structure. This will continue in the same trend, in the same trend, in the same trend. But when I come at this scenario around here, like this, the market moved in an uptrending market, but later market yajja pushing down at this area around here. The market pushed down and made what we call a market structure shift. Market structure shift. The word shifting means from like the thing moving from one step to another or from a certain direction to another. The market yabadde etambula ng'eyambuka n'ate ne pushinga wansi nekkirira, which means market yaffe eno yabadde wano eno eri moving in a good direction, eyambuka bulungi, but out of the blue, remember we have what we call the bears and the bulls, bearish market and the bullish market. So the market was bullish, later it was forced to be bearish. But this is what we call the market structure shift, this area around here. After the market structure shift, ate tufuna kye bayita break of market structure. Kati kano kolaba wano eno kaneeno ketujoyita market structure shift. They try to come and trade below the previous low, ne breaking a previous low, neja nekola wano eno low, neja nekola lower high and a lower low. This we call the market structure shift. But later wano eno tulina kye tuyita break of market structure. Nti break of market structure yegenda maintaining a trend. Eja maintaining a trend. But market structure shift, it will abuse the trend, it will gain another direction, which means in market structure shift, the trade will come from a certain trend to another, whereas in the break of market structure, the trade will continue to push in that same direction. All right, this was an example of a bearish trade, like a bearish market. So let me show you. That was a bullish market. So I want to give clear iterative examples. Let me give a scenario on a bearish market, which will be like this. Kyakatale kanene akaba bears bwe kaba kakkirira nako ka breaking kye bayita market structure, which will be here a break of a market structure. It's the same scenario as we look at in the bullish market. It now even like it also pushes down. Tuba twa trading market ene ejja ne pushinga wansi like this. Market ejja koma pushinga wansi bekola kye bayita break of market structure. Sometimes wait for the market to retrace ate ne tuyingira trades zaffe. So the market will be pushing a weight. At times nekola like this. The market may be pushing like this. This is a market structure shift. Why a market structure shift? We have this low, here, and we have this low and this high, which means traded above the previous high. That will be a market structure shift. Teno market yabadde ekkirira, eno yakkirira twakkiriza nti eno it's a bearish market and it has to break market structures. But later tugatunula eno market nti yo yali ekkirira, at a certain point nekyusa trend netandika okwambuka. So market eno wetandika okwambuka, which means eba erinaayinze kye bayita market trend. Tebevudde in a certain trend nekwata endala. So as a trader, if you're going to take trades, always first look for the general market structure. Is the market moving up? Did it break the previous highs and lows? What did it do? All right, let me take a scenario on GBPUSD because I've been trading GBPUSD. I want to show you relative market structure shift and the market structure and breakout market structures. All right, let us fast load. Binene ebintu tebiba just some people were confusing and I think in some other ways they confuse themselves. Why is it taking long to load? So go to JSON anyway. Let me see if I can get church road around BTC. The market eno buluwenayambuka n'ogiwa obudde ekomewo emabega, it will help you take good trades in a good market direction. All right, I'll give a scenario around here. This was an uptrending market. As you can see, BTC has been pushing literally down. Today it made a crash up to our demand zone. We had marked out as a good demand zone around here. This was, let me get a clean piece around this side. Well, this is a breakout market structure. Market wano eno yava waggulu ng'eri kukkirira. Era ogiraba yasooka ne breakinga this previous low. We had this previous low. It first made a market structure shift around here. Market structure shift. After this market structure shift, it continued like pushing down, breaking this low, and again market yasigale pushing down and breaking a neno low, which means we had a downtrend around here and a break of market structures around these areas. Had break of market structure around these areas. Twano market yalekkirira natenga breaking as no structure enkadde. Nate tunajja ne tutunulira wano eno nti market erina we yatuuka at a certain point ng'ekoze eno low nefailinga okugibreakinga obulungi. We consider break of market structure ebiseera ebisinga trade weba nga eclosinze oba we breakinga ne closinga ne full body candlestick nga si buno eno buwiiki. Era trade yejja nekola buno eno buwiiki yamala nejja yeno, consider this as the previous high, nejja ne trading above this previous high. So as a trader you can consider a market structure shift, though it's not confirmed. The reason market erina okupushinga nekola high nekola low nekola higher high. So we had what we call a consolidation around this area. As you can see, market yali esalawo tesalawo esalawo tesalawo. That is basically how the market will always shift and it will always take in its trends. Kati kibeeri trader nujja n'ogamba nti kati right now the market is uptrending, so what should I do? I should first look in for a general direction of the market. After looking for the general direction, I take the trades according to the direction of the market. Sikugwa bugwe mu katale. So by the way, knowing how to detect the trends, it's one of the most things that are going to make you a profitable trader, because you can't trade against the market structure. We have to first read the market structure before we take the trades. So tugagana kweno current scenario eno eri wano eno right now ti BTC abadde ali kwambuka, BTC abadde ali kwambuka but yajja wano eno tugenda laba ti BTC abadde ali kwambuka high lows like that have what we call a base and we have what we call a drop. At Vineno, we shall be seeing this as we are continuing with the mentorship, and I'll explain this. But for today, nja clickingako ku buntu butono nnyo nti whenever you see this, when trade comes and does like this is what we call a break of market structure, you can go back and start identifying these break of market structures on your own. And you identify these break of market structures on your charts. This is a break of market structure. First of all, even though you draw a trend line, you can get that tool, it's called a trend line, and you just draw throughout your chart like this. As long as the trend line is pushing up, just identify that trend that it is generally an uptrending market. If you have your trend moving like this, just know it is a downtrending market. That will be very easy for you to identify what you are going to deal with. Into a two-way uptrending market, if where the market structure break is going up, you're literally focusing on buying the market. And if it's going down, and you're literally focusing on selling the market. Market ene ekola nnyo nga tufokasinga ku ekyo kye twagala okulaba. Nti market eno bwe tubeera awo nga tugisanze eyambuka ne tunoonya baayi, kigenda tuyambako okuba nga tufuna trades zaffe ennungi eza baayi, nti ne tuba tulookinze in, market ewe egenda kuba nga etuyambako pushinga market nga tuli mu direction. Remember we saw what we call the banks, the hedge funds and the retail part. Nti buli tujja ne tubayinga nga market eri kwambuka, we stand higher chances of getting winning trades. If we sell when the market is going down, we stand higher chances to get winning trades. You know that very well. Kigenda kuba wekityo. As a trader, first spot what the market is up to. But right now, on this current chart, I would say that I'm seeing a break of market structure shift. We had this uptrending market when the trade didn't trade above this previous high, and yet they traded the trade pushed it down, which means nti nabadde ne zino high zange previous highs neno market ya pushing awagulu nekomako waneno nabadde neno previous low eno market yagiyiseeko buyisi, which means market wenakomawo nejja ne zino previous low zonna, which means there was a strong push about the bearish over the bears took over the market strongly, which means if the market pushes from here, it comes back, pushes down, like this. I'll clearly say that this was a market structure shift, and this will be a break of market structure run here. Wano nja kubawo ne break of market structure because market esigadde pushinga wansi, and this will also be a break of market structure run here. I hope we get that. The market wekyuka tukiyita market structure shift. Naye ate webeera mu kidya same direction nga just yeyongerayo bweyongezi wansi, tukiyita break of market structure. So you can send your reactions, your questions, and we see. So sindikawo on the chart, on the live chat, so that I can see more clarifications, and even in the comment section we can be seeing what to do better. All right. So